Morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for our first CMS Power Hour of the year. We have with us this morning Scott McDougall and Shay Tilton from Cornerstone Billing Solutions. Thanks for joining us, guys. They're going to go over some things that your billing software should be doing for you that maybe it isn't currently. So go ahead, guys.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. This really won't take too long. We're going to cover what we say are 5 cool things your software should do. It may take 25 minutes, so we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. The reason we call it 5 cool things your software should do, software can do lots of things, but it's cool if software can save you time. It's cool if software can save you money. And the things that we'll demo today, and we've done some videos, do both. So with that, let me just give you a quick recap of the 5 things that we'll be talking about. So first, replacing paper tickets, service installation tickets with basically electronic management of your work through a mobile app. Very, very valuable, saves tons of time, makes your techs more productive. Second, connecting your quotes and estimates directly to the workflow. Avoiding re-entering information makes your workflow much smoother. Third, quickly sending messages to your subscribers. So pulling up either your entire list or a subset of your subscribers and getting them information quickly. Fourth, matching up your billing list against your monitored account list. Painful to do if you don't have a tool to do it, and our software does. And finally, finding groups of accounts that may be 15, 20 years old, where you're charging $18 a month, the going rate is 25 or 30, being able to find those and implement rate increases. So with that, Shay will cover the first part of this, and then I'll cover some of the remaining elements. Go ahead, Shay.
Perfect. Thank you, Scott. So as Scott said, we're going to look over 5 different things that today in 2022, your software really should be doing for you. And the first one we're going to review is the integrated mobile app. Nowadays in the modern age, and really in the last 5 years, this ability to manage service tickets through a tablet or a phone and communicate back to the office software has become extremely important in good customer service and staying on top of all the moving parts of doing a security install. And I'm going to show you now how that works in the Cornerstone system. So the login screen here, we're going to log in with our username and password. And at the top, it's going to integrate a time card as well, so that your technicians can go ahead and clock in for the day, which you can run as a report in Cornerstone. At our main dashboard in the upper left, you're able to review the dashboard that we just looked at, see the technician's calendar of events, look up customers, and view and accept quotes, as well as look at their previous time cards. Below our events for today, our service tickets for today for this technician, and we're going to go ahead and look at Sharon Butler at the top. And when we log in, you'll see that immediately there is another section to clock in. This clock in ties directly to that service ticket and will allow you again to charge for labor on the job, run reports to see timing on service. They'll also be able to see full service items, including parts, costs, quantities, and descriptions, so they can easily see what parts are being used on this service ticket. As they scroll down, they'll have full customer information with the ability to get maps to directions, see their cell phones, look at central station account numbers and balance due, which they can take payment in the field. I'll show you that shortly. They'll also be able to see the service requested, internal notes, take pictures, and view, as we click here, full appointment and service history, so they know that what has been done on this account in the past can easily be accessed. The other access they do have is to edit this service ticket to ensure that communication back to the office is consistent between the two. In this case, we're going to show you service performed, and I'm actually going to use my talk to text to explain what I did on the service, so I don't have to worry about messy handwriting, lost tickets, bad texting. I can simply tell the ticket what I did, and it'll automatically integrate to the office software for the office to see on the service ticket. As we move up to the upper right, you also have the option to text and email the customer that you're on your way, for example, We see service items. You can take signatures. So Ms. Butler in this case could sign before or after the job, or both, signing off to say they approve of the work. You can generate the invoice for this ticket right through the app. You can get payment in the field. You can see the equipment on site, look at documents, etc. So now we're going to go ahead and clock out of the service ticket for the sake of argument that we have finished the job here. We've done the job. We're going to go ahead next and click complete on the service ticket. So now what it's doing is notifying the office that the ticket is complete and now allowing you to go ahead and invoice that customer. So we're going to create that invoice. You have the option for different billing options depending on the size. We're going to leave it 100% here in this case. We're going to click create. And in a couple of quick seconds, I have now generated the invoice for this specific service ticket from Ms. Butler. I can see all of my parts, my costs, any reoccurring they'd be added if it was coming from a quote, labor charges based on the time card, tax totals at the bottom. You can now review this with the customer right there live in their home. You can also go to the alarm payment portal and have them pay for this service immediately, like most cable companies do today, keeping you modernized. You can also send them an email under email customer, as you saw there, letting them get a PDF copy of that invoice. Now that I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and clock out. And that's a very quick step-by-step of a daily service ticket life for a technician with a service app. Why this is important, especially important today in modern times of 2022. Well, first of all, it eliminates paper tickets, which honestly have been the tried and true method of our industry for 100 years at this point. But paper tickets can be damaged. You spill coffee on them in the truck. They can be lost. The writing on them may not be legible if you're doing it quickly. Having an app on a tablet or a phone allows for clear communication and no lost information. It also connects directly with the office software so that the office can see what was done on that ticket as soon as it was completed. And even if you don't want the technician to generate invoices in the field, in the office now they can automatically create that invoice because they know the service ticket is completed. It empowers your techs to manage the jobs. What I mean by that is it also lowers office work of a technician calling in with questions on that ticket if they're missing information. They can look up customers, they can see all the information through the ticket. They're empowered to do the job out in the field on their own without reaching back and forth to the office. As we saw, we can receive payment on site. We can integrate faster installation because they can check boxes off even quicker through a mobile app. And the level of customer service to be able to connect with the customer via text message that you're on your way, running late, need to be 18 or older on site, especially with the millennial generation hitting the upper ages of their early 40s. That's an incredible customer service benefit to have, something that'll keep a customer stickier. Obviously, what it comes down to is costs. Mobile apps cost money. We find ours to be very affordable, but what is it going to do for me as an owner? How does this help me monetarily? Well, we use an example here, and with the speed of the app, on average, you're able to add about 3 jobs per week because of how quickly it works, how they can get an emergency job, look up a customer, get a ticket, and get on the move. That averages to about $200 profit, which can each week add to $600 or $2,400 a month. So with a simple mobile app, even if it costs you $25, $30 a month to use for that technician, it more than pays for itself in the long run in the monetary investment that you're going to have coming back from it, the ROI. The second pillar I want to talk about today is connecting quotes to service tickets. Now, this seems like a pretty simple thing that your software should do, but we want to run across several times where people have a quoting system in bucket A, a service system in bucket B, and customer management in bucket C. And really what your software should be doing today in 2022 is integrating all that from start to finish in a lifecycle software that allows you to reduce documentation and human error. And I'll now show you how that works in Cornerstone today. So as you can see here on the screen, we are in our quoting module, and I have a template pulled up that I'm going to move over to a customer already built into the software. I'll simply put templates are just drafts you can use over and over again. You can use it to build out a new customer, but in this case, we're going to use an existing customer. So all I needed to do was move it to 2 seconds, and it moves it over to Russ Construction. Now, if I go over to that customer file, go into their quote section, I can now see the quote has been added with a good through date, an amount, profit margins, as well as some Kanban boards on the sales status of this quote, so I can easily see where it stands. To generate the service ticket, I simply need to go to accept create service ticket, click yes, and the quote will now move over to a service ticket, including all parts, recurring information, any notes from the quote will all be pulled over here. Next thing I'll do is assign that technician, and I can do it through an interactive calendar built into Cornerstone. I can see it's on this Wednesday. I have availability Friday to do this install for the customer. I'll drag it over, drag it down. Since it's a pretty large install in this case, we'll make sure it's booked for the whole day. Now it has the date, the time, and the technician added to it, and tying back to the mobile app. If they refresh their app, they will be able to see that on that mobile app. Now on the customer side of things, well, how does it help make customers' life smoother, or your life smoother in the customer update? Because I have recurring information, it already integrates the recurring charges into the customer management software for invoicing. It also will update the equipment list and show every sensor piece, so path, communicator that was on that quote put into the customer as well. So you can easily access that and see what equipment has been installed on site through that quote. As I said, this went from point A to point B to point C with very little documentation and very quick turnaround. So why is lifecycle software important? Well, I like to use this image here of that lifecycle from quote to installation, payment, billing, service, collections, and prospect. If you don't have lifecycle software, let's say we have our installation pulled out of here. So I do my quote, I now have to move that quote over to another software, type in all the information, add all the inventory information. Hopefully that's in the same software, and it may not be. And frankly, that takes time and can increase human error if a mistake is made, which lowers customer service. So by having it all tied in, where a quote goes seamlessly to the installation, seamlessly to payment, whether in the field through a mobile app or sent out through the office, seamlessly already created the recurring billing, service history has been loaded into that customer, so I can see the service that's been done for that installation. I can then begin collecting through the same software on both the recurring billing, which is part of our automation for you, or through the service ticket invoice that I sent out. That creates quality customer service, quality customer experience, and the prospect will now help you by referring people and creating new quotes. So by losing one piece of these, you can break that cycle and make your office not run as smooth as it could and could damage the customer experience. So we find that life cycle fully and connected is something your software should do today. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Scott to talk about mail merges.
Yep, thanks, Jay. So coming out of the age of COVID, we all know that as that happened a few years back, we needed to get a hold of our customers. We needed to tell them, hey, we're still here, we're in business, we need to change some things. So you need in your software, in your customer management software, to have a tool that allows you to communicate with either all your customers or groups of customers quickly. So what I'm going to show you is the tool in our system. We call it Mail Merge. It does more than that, but it basically was built to allow you to quickly pull up groups of accounts and get information to them. So let's go ahead with this. We have a video here.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing you want to do is decide what it is you want to say. So we're going to go to create letters here. You can see here 3G. Hopefully you all have your 3G upgrades done. This was a letter we created in several of our companies' systems to notify subscribers, hey, we need to upgrade you to 4G, something, 3G is being sunsetted. So there is the letter, and you can see there are wild cards in here that basically allow for the merge. So once you've got the letter, you then go and use what amounts to a query tool to create the letter, do the merge. We also have labels, we have collection letters, we have emails, lots of options here. So a very powerful tool. A lot of our companies use it for collections. So there, excuse me, there's a letter that was created that we just looked at. There are different fields, so you can find groups of subscribers depending on, in this case, contract, maybe beginning and ending date of contract. We have lots of user fields and billing searches to be able to find it based on, let's say, billing method, This is the user field, and then equipment. Let's say there's a warranty issue. You can pull up based on part type, let's say. So we're going to go back here and we put a flag into this field, 3G upgrade, no. So we then go out and find those accounts where we still have not gotten them upgraded. There are 20 in this example, and we need to get them the information. So you can email it to them using this tool. There are options to email to the main primary email person or secondary or both. You can also send hard copy letters to your customers, print them out in the office. We have a thing called Corner Mail, which allows you to send it through us. So if you want to, you're busy, you want to get it out the door, you can send it through Cornerstone. We'll mail it next day. So very efficient, very quick, and very powerful. Being able to pull up groups of accounts, get them the information they need about whatever is happening now. So you saw there, you can design reusable letters, especially for things like collections. You're not having to export to, let's say, Excel and Word and do a mail merge the old fashioned way. Basically, you do it right in the software, saving you a ton of time. And obviously it's quick and easy to do, whether you send it snail mail, email, or corner mail through us. Matching up your central station list against your billing list used to be very painful. In the early days, we did it many times. It amounts to a spreadsheet. Being able to do lookups takes hours, if not days, if you're a bigger company. So we got tired of it, to be honest, and we said, hey, we're going to build a tool that allows our customers to do this, what we call central station audit. And this works better if you're integrated. So we are integrated with CMS, which means that our system talks to their system, and we'll show you how powerful that is here in just a second. So we're going to go to reports. We're going to go to the central station audit report. And you can see here, CMS is the central station. We're going to click on the little globe, and in a couple of seconds, that's going to download the open device list. Below that, you'll see we have found over the years there are 6 different reasons why your list in billing may not match up with your list in monitoring. So we chose one in this case. When you first get started with this audit tool, there is some cleanup. And it does take some time, but once you've done it, it's very easy if you run it, let's say once a month or once a quarter, to keep it up to date. And we're going to go to the next screen and you'll see the report. So Shay, I think this was basically in the central station. So basically it's a monitored open account I'm sorry, is this Cornerstone, Shay? I think it's in Cornerstone and not in the central station. I forget.
These are, in this case, being billed by the central station for monitoring services. However, they are not being billed by our billing automation anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So this is probably the most valuable list, because you've got monitored accounts that may not be billed and you're losing money. You're not billing 100% of what you should be billing. So we've had to blot out a lot of the names and et cetera on this, but this will show you your list of basically accounts that maybe you're missing billing. So you're not billing 100% of what you should be. So extremely valuable when our customers do this. They're always going to find some money either here, or let's say they've got accounts that were closed in Cornerstone. They're still sitting in the central station list being billed for monitoring. So you obviously want to find those, close those in your central station and save, reduce your monthly bill there. So it's pretty obvious here. What are you going to find when you run this report? You're going to keep your lists in sync. You're going to find missed billing. The example we just looked at, you're going to make sure you're paying for the accounts that are actually being monitored, active accounts. So very valuable, probably the most important report we've got in our system. and it's fast. So once you get a handle on it, get things cleaned up, get the lists in sync, it's easy to run this month to month without having to dump stuff to spreadsheets. And I'm going to turn it back over to Shay.
Thank you, Scott. Since we are on the subject of making sure that you're getting the income and the payments that you should be paying, our next thing that your software should be doing is being able to quickly identify accounts that perhaps are being underbilled, being overbilled, or have a discontinued service based on their recurring. And you're able to do that through Cornerstone with our tool called Recurring Research. I'm going to show you how that works now. So we're going to go back to our report screen, but in this case, we're going to go to Recurring Research, and my tool will open up. Now, there's a lot of things you can slice and dice here, as I said, for different types of recurring research. But in this case, we're going to look at one specific item. We're going to look at a code called RMON, which is residential monitoring in this example. And I'm going to look for monthly charges that are LT or less than $18 a month. That's probably crazy if anyone's being billed that still nowadays, but it does happen. So when I run that, it is going to show 10 or so accounts that I currently have in my system that are being charged under $18 a month for recurring, for monitoring, for residential monitoring. I'll also be able to see on the screen here the cycle. Is it once a year? Is it once a quarter, once a month, etc.? The charge amount and the type of billing method, if it's Amex, Visa, email, paper invoice, whatever it might be. I can now use this tool and tie back to something else we talked previous, mail merge, send information out to these customers to let them know their rates are raising. And I can also use this to go in and actually edit these customers to increase those rates easily and quickly. What are some benefits to this? Obviously, the biggest one is to mass identify specific account groups. So I can easily tell, in this case, people who are being underbilled, but I can also see the people that are due for an increase based on their customer profile. So if I can see an increase is coming for March 1st, I can use this to find that and then make sure I am doing that mail merge or notifying them in some way that that increase is happening. I can target specific accounts, as in this case, my underbilled accounts. I can ensure that RMR is profitable. So if I am working on the accounting side in the office or as an owner, CFO, et cetera, I might have numbers that say all of our customers need to be over $29.99 because of our costs. We need to make 30% profit and that'll get us there. At $18 an hour, we're actually negative. So I need to upgrade these people to a higher cost. So I'm keeping my RMR profitable. And then finally, identifying specific types of services. So you could actually use this tool to say you're discontinuing cell service A and going to IP service B or cell service B. You could look up the recurring based on that and say, okay, these 100 customers are using this type of cell communicator based on their recurring. I need to reach out to them because we're going to upgrade them to a new one since I'm switching services. So you can use it beyond just the recurring, specific types of services to help you upgrade those customers. And it does always go back to the numbers. So I'm doing recurring research. Does this make sense? If I'm not making money, why am I bothering doing this? Well, we took the example of 50 accounts billing under $20 a month, and across the board on those, we increased them an average of $7 a month. Some went up 10, some went up 2, based on conversations with the customer. By doing that, I was able to increase my recurring revenue about $350 a month. It does not seem like a huge amount of money for someone that may have thousands and thousands of accounts, but if you are doing this once a month to ensure that everyone is being increased the right amounts, being increased properly, right percentages, that 350 will compile month over month, year over year, and you can always ensure that your RMR is profitable and making money. So it is a very important tool, something that most softwares or the software you are using should be doing for you today. Now, lastly, because we are doing the first webinar of the year with CMS, we wanted to add in a bonus thing your software should be doing because it is the new year and it's just something really cool that's built into Cornerstone that I want to make sure we share with everyone today. And that is slow pay follow-up. So I don't necessarily mean that every software should do this because it is a lot that it can do. It's very powerful, but it is something that we do to make sure that our customers can follow up with people who are not necessarily paying on time and keeping their receivables coming in. So what I'm going to do for this one in this video is I'm going to look for all my open commercial accounts that are 30 to 59 days behind and that now need a call because I've already done some processes on them. So when I go ahead and run this, I get 10 or so accounts that I can see a status of CL1, which in our database is collection letter 1. So I have sent them a collection letter. I now need to call them. So it's going to show me that next step. It's going to show me that they're all about 49 days behind. And then I get to see, so there, for example, at the top, there is $34.99 that's currently due, $34.99 that's 15 to 29 days behind, and $34.99 that's 30 to 59 days behind. So this customer's missed a couple months. I can see the total $104.97, but it's going to show me all the totals. They range from that to all the way up to nearly $500 this customer owes me. I now can easily go through these, do all these calls, add it in a correspondence log showing I made these calls, and then set up a next step through here. So maybe the next step is collection letter number 2. I can update all of these so that I can research them when I need to call them again. It's a very powerful tool to keep you organized on certain steps to keep your customers current. And we do offer this 2 different ways, whether you manage it in-house or we help you manage it here at Cornerstone. So you have 2 different options as well. Why is this so important? You know, I can tell if people aren't paying and they're friends of mine. I'll just call them. I'm the local installation guy. That is true. You can absolutely do that, and a lot of people do that. But with a tool like this built in, it's easier to mass identify those accounts. You can easily see where they are. You can also set up specific steps, so it's not off the seat of your pants or a notebook or just saving emails in an Outlook. You can say, these people need a text message, and 2 weeks later, if they haven't paid, I'm going to send them a letter, or 1 week later. Identify those next steps to continue a friendly but stern process to get these customers to pay. Goes back to keeping RMR profitable, which has been a lot of things that your software should do through our presentation. And you can easily see what accounts have open invoices rather than digging through a pile of paper or even just doing some guesswork. I know this person generally doesn't pay, so I'm going to call them to check in. I could use my software to easily look that up. Very important tool, very robust tool that we have for our customers. So we've talked a lot about things that our software does, but we really haven't discussed who we are as a company, who Cornerstone Billing Solution is. And we really do 2 main things for our customers. The first one being recurring billing automation, which we'll talk about through invoice processing, autopay processing, online payment portal, and finance reporting. We also provide customer management software, which you've seen a lot of today, which includes that quoting to service tickets, inventory management, mobile applications, slow pay follow-up, and recurring research. So it does all of that for our customers if they need it to. The Alarm Office software, we've touched on this, but you're able to manage your customers, set up your recurring, run your financial reports, and then with the optional modules, you can do things like create quotes, service tickets, mobile apps, inventory, and slow pay follow-up. So you can build it out as much as you need to manage your office and save you time in the office and time out in the field because you have a lifecycle style software to help your workflow. We talked about it here. It all goes into one location. This is just more of a visual for it. On that note, I'm going to hand it back to Scott for the presentation, and he'll take it from here.
Sure. So we've been known through the years as a billing specialist. You can see today that a lot of what we've done, especially in the last 5 to 7 years, is really build out the software to provide the power that these different cool things give to our customers. So it's really lifecycle customer management software. The big bonus is, as a behind the scenes billing automation company, we help our dealers by saving them tons of time. The problem with this industry, and also the blessing of this industry, is small ticket recurring transactions. So because of the nature of the business, there are lots and lots of those, a lot of time and energy generating small ticket recurring invoices and processing the payments. So what we have done and integrated into our software is really automation of that process. So the recurring batches get run, behind the scenes as part of our service to our customers. We process auto pays. We obviously print and mail paper invoices. We have an online payment portal. And in terms of what the dealer, our customer, needs to do, much simpler reporting. A lot of our customers come from a situation where they've got a merchant account and they've got an ACH account, and they've got paper billing in-house or maybe outsourced. So they've got different systems that are required these days to run the recurring. Well, we basically aggregate all of that into one software package and one very, very efficient process. So a couple of things really set us apart, and I just described one of those. We do the work. So as a kind of a billing automation specialist, with a very powerful software package, being able to rely on us to handle, let's say, 1,000 invoices a month. So if you've got 1,000 invoices of various kinds, paper, Autopay credit card, Autopay ACH, potentially we basically will run those 1,000 invoices, and if you want us to, we will collect those 1,000 payments. You don't need to touch anything. So there are options in some of the services that we offer that allow our customers to do pieces of it, but generally we are handling a lot of that small ticket recurring work, saving our dealer, anywhere from, maybe 5-10 hours a month to maybe dozens of hours a month, depending on how many recurring bills that they have. And the second, we're going to talk a little bit about how complex this has become over the years. So in the bad old days, you would generate 1,000 bills, paper primarily, send them out, get back paper checks, post those checks, make a deposit ticket, deposit those checks, and move on. These days, customers want auto pay, they want online payments. So it's a lot more complicated than it was when we started 22 years ago. So generating a recurring billing batch in April, one batch, means for the following month, in this case, 46 payment batches. So you've got check batches, so checks coming in pretty much daily, credit card auto pays, so those are scheduled auto pays, ACH auto pays. If they get an email or a paper invoice, they can go online to our alarm payments portal and pay. So we have at least 3 batches a week of those charges that we run and clear and post for our customers. And reruns. So not everything is perfect. Not everything runs as it should. So doing reruns is part of our process to make sure that we hopefully get 100% of everything that was invoiced cleared. Finally, and this is a big deal, we think, and our customers tell us, that our support is the best in this business, hands down. We do not believe in support tickets. We are set up for live support. So if you're stuck on something and you need help, you can pick up the phone, you can call us. If it's a quick, easy question, we have a chat feature in our software, so you can chat with us, get an immediate response. But real-time support is critical. We're all busy. We all have small businesses to run. Being able to get an answer right away is critical, and it's part of our model. We're really proud of the team that we've got here that supports our dealers, and they tell us, hey, this is way, way, way better than how we were handled before by our prior software company. And that wraps it up. So we're about 35 minutes in. So first, thank you for your time today. And we've got time, Jennifer, 10 minutes maybe for Q&A. I don't know if any folks have questions.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to use the Q&A function that's at the bottom of your screen. You can type in any questions you have there for these guys. Also, just a reminder, I will post this to the CMS YouTube page. So if you missed anything, you want to rewatch for some reason, or if you want to share this webinar with somebody else on your staff, it'll be there probably by tomorrow morning, and I'll send an email out letting everybody know when that's been posted.
Okay, I'm gonna get a couple of questions, and Shay, you may have some too. People ask about, hey, this sounds really great. If I were to do this, is this a long, ridiculous process? It's going to take months and be so painful. No, we generally can get, because we've worked with lots of the software packages out there, we can generally get the data out of whatever your system is We have conversion routines for some of the larger software packages in this industry, so we can convert directly and quickly. So onboarding a new company is usually from getting the data part of it's probably less than a week. And then the training and onboarding process usually is 2 to 4 weeks. If they have lots of techs that need to use the mobile app, it might be longer than that. And we try to take it in steps, so people are not overwhelmed. We start with getting the customer information into the system, the recurring into the system, getting the billing automation started so that saves them a lot of time. And then we move on to service management. Obviously, inventory is a big part of that, et cetera. So it's not a killer process. We're quite good at it, and we try to do it. We can do it as quickly as you want to do it, but usually it's, I'd say, 2 to 6 weeks.
Good. Thanks, Scott. It does look like we had one question come through from Kristen. Does the Cornerstone software work with QuickBooks?
Yes, we're actually updating that, but we basically, the way that it works with QuickBooks is journal entry. So we have an export and book a journal entry. So let's say, we ran through our system, there were $50,000 in invoices for the month, broken down across 12 different revenue buckets. That journal entry is part of one of the reports that we've got built into Cornerstone. It then is an importable transaction to QuickBooks. So we did it that way because people are using QuickBooks online, and they're using QuickBooks desktop. So by creating an easy to import journal entry, basically you get the summary transaction for the month. We don't think it's wise to try to push, let's say, all the invoices, all the payments over to QuickBooks, because it tends to be QuickBooks, we use it ourselves, can get very sluggish if you overload it with lots of individual transaction data. You can just run the reports in our system to get your invoice history, to get your cash receipts, your aging, or whatever. So the answer is yes. And it pretty much boils down to journal entries.
Good. Okay. And one more question from Don. How long has Cornerstone been a partner of CMS? And how does this benefit companies that use CFI and CMS?
Good question. We integrated in 2015, so 7 years. The real benefit is tying the two systems together. The Central Station audit report you saw, but day to day, what happens is when you're assigned a CMS Central Station ID number, you can download that record from CMS with just a matter of entering that number. I don't know if it's a 6 or 8 digit number. You enter it into our system. A little button pops up. It says download customer. It will download that account to Cornerstone, including the zone list and the contact list. So it's instant. So it avoids double data entry. At that point, all you really need to do is add the recurring, because CMS is not going to have the retail recurring part of that, but very quick. And then you can update. So we do have two-way, which means somebody calls in, hey, my neighbor moved. I've got a new person on my call list. They give you the person's name, the person's number. You can basically go into Cornerstone, into the contact list, add that, and it'll push back to CMS. So it is one way. Generally, one way is good for downloading a new customer, two-way for updates. Good question.
All right. I don't see any other questions coming through at this time, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up for today. Thanks, Scott and Shay, for joining us, and everybody for taking the time to attend our first webinar of the year. We look forward to having you on some future ones. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Everybody have a good day. Take care.
Take care.